So last time on Spellbound and the Curse of Strahd, you guys did some final investigations of the submarine in the Colombian River, within which you guys found there were two sharks who proceeded to knock Yertle unconscious and give both Gale and Julian a run for their money. Really just taking pieces out of the three of them. The whole party got involved, and eventually you guys sort of killed the two sharks and made your escape from the room. Only then for a third, much larger shark to attack the submarine, causing it to actually start to sink as water began flooding into the room. You guys grabbed some of the gear and tried to grab Yertle's body, only to discover that he was dead. Making plans to leave his body behind, you guys looted it and started making your sort of way to escape the submarine, to drag everyone who was unconscious out, when Alesia cast the Revivify spell on Yertle's corpse, bringing him back to life and in the process knocking herself unconscious. Various zaniness ensued as you guys sort of made your way out of the submarine, tying bodies to ropes and pulling them up the sort of ladder hatch. Coming to a head upon your escape from the submarine, where you guys ran smack into a troop of the werewolf bikers who were sort of camped out on the covered bridge. You guys negotiated a sort of deal with them where they would take you to see their leader. You lied to them, stating that Arena was dead, who died in the submarine. And then one by one, you were all led from the submarine back to the shore, including Gale, even though plans were made for him to make an escape with Arena's body.
Look, I was out of it. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Leaving both Arena's invisible body and Alesia's unconscious one just lying flat on the submarine's top as the river kind of going along. You were all hauled off into the ambulance. All your weapons and spellcasting focuses were taken, and you just sort of peeled off, leaving the two of them behind. And that's what we're going to pick up this time on Curse of Strahd. Oh man, I gotta tell you, I got a bad head cold right now, and it's not good for trying to think of
everything. I assume tonight's session will be a lot shorter, considering we started late and are all dying in our different ways.
I need a new mic. Someone shout me a new mic, please.
I need to shout myself a new mic.
Give me your old mic.
Probably would. Think served me well.
I'm scrunchy that way.
Wouldn't be doing anything else. Maybe get surround sound if I had to.
Put on the opposite side of my room once it's set up.
Oh god. Something's sticking to my hand.
Oh.
It's like a piece of string.
I knew you're always just a puppet.
I'm Zen.
Phil.
Huh?
Phil.
Phil looks like he smokes dope.
Probably does.
Phil, my man.
Okay.
Hook us up with that good stuff.
So the breast.
Why are you guys taking a piece of my man Phil here? He's an upstanding citizen.
He really doesn't look like it.
Then you got Baby Man.
Baby man.
Baby man.
Baby man who's now full size once again.
Still baby man in our hearts forever.
You will
Baby
be
man.
the babiest man.
So we pick back up with all of you still in the ambulance. Julian, you're sat up back front with still some of the blood and sort of shrapnel and sort of broken glass from the windshield kind of shattered all around on the seats. Phil is mostly kept just like swiped off most of the glass, but the blood looks like it's sinking into the leather of the actual seats themselves. And he's going to sit there up front with him with both hands on the wheel. He has his shotgun sort of on his left side away from you, kind of just resting there up front as he kind of drives you off into the night. Everyone else is stuck in the back. All of you are basically entirely exhausted from your submarine escapades. Only really Leku and Miriam making out of that one okay. Leku, however, still feeling incredibly drained as his Rage Enfeeblement spell backfired, causing him to be incredibly weak. and as you're sort of being driven through, kind of just peeling off onto the road, sort of just the forest on either side of you, and only the headlights in front to sort of like light the way. These two werewolves in the back of the ambulance themselves, one being the titular baby man, this hulking dark-skinned man with this like aviator-style pilot's jacket with like this fur mantle and this sleek sort of like brown, dark leather, kind of just leering at all of you through these beady black eyes, particularly at Leku, who it was that shrunk him in the first place.
The baby maker.
And then this woman with sort of like this like upraised hat, this sleeves of tattoos, sort of this very strange getup, who's got this tire iron slung across her back and this shotgun sort of held in her hands, kind of just idly at her side, as you all kind of just drive off in silence. Is there anything any of you would like to do?
Take a dang short rest. I'm dying here, man. I want to look over at this dude. Where did he put all our shit after taking it?
Looking over at this guy, you see that he's got your revolver slung at his hip.
Oh.
And you imagine, like, the pockets of his jacket, he's got probably a couple of your bullets, maybe, like, one of your wands. But he did it to, what you can see, at least outside the windows, you're the two to see it. There are the other werewolves, on motorcycles, kind of riding out around. Notably Drago riding out in front. The ones on the motorcycles have the majority of his actual weaponry and ammunition on their persons.
Dang. You already divvied up the loot.
Well, they certainly wouldn't keep it in the vehicle that's transporting the prisoners.
When the prisoners are children.
They know your magic, though.
Look, man, he's got my one near him. Tell you that much.
The prisoners are magical children that were carrying guns in Barovia that escaped them before.
Yeah, we did kind of fuck him up last time a little bit.
It did be a
A little bit.
I lean out and wave to Drago.
The guy who's got his back cheek.
Drago!
Woo! Because of the way the ambulance is built, you cannot lean out because of the bars on the windows. You
Smush my
put your arm
face.
out. As the motorcycle kind of peels out, and it kind of like just bobs and weaves along the road, like going into both lanes, in and out of the front way of the ambulance. He doesn't seem to take any notice of you.
I look to Phil with a very Mary from Lord of the Rings look on my face. Just, so where are we going? Oh no.
He kind of turns back to you, and he says, "Oh, buddy, you're going to the wolves' den."
Oof.
We're gonna talk to Krill, and we're gonna sort this whole thing out.
Right.
And I'm gonna talk to you right here, and I'm gonna talk to you right now. And he turns from the road, not looking at all, still one hand on the wheel, he's gonna turn towards you, puts a finger in your face, and he says, "When you're talking to Krill, or even just when you're talking to Bianca, you don't pull a damn thing. And that's for your own good, you hear me? No magic, no tricky moves, nothing. Because that's gonna be it. You understand me?"
Mm-hmm.
Kind of turns away back to the wheel, puts both hands on. He says, "They got a nose for that kind of thing. They're used to people's bullshit. If you get a fucking toe out of your shoe, bam!" And he claps his hands.
A jump.
That's it right there. You and your friends just play your cards right, and this'll all be smooth sailing. And you all watch as the ambulance actually turns back around from the covered bridge and goes the opposite direction. Sort of back onto the road's intersection and then off, basically kind of pulling on this main street for about like a good 5 minutes until eventually going off the road onto sort of like a dirt path, heading out sort of into the forest, sort of outlining the main sort of like interstate highway that kind of runs through the majority of like basically the main street that runs through this entire region of Barovia. And as it does, I would like each of you to make a perception check for me.
Oh, fucking legend.
Oh,
There.
epic.
Epic.
That is small brain in it. God bless.
Bless you.
Oh Lord, Jesus bless your soul.
Cheat sneeze.
So Julian, as you're gonna chat with Phil, he's got his finger in your face, which attention out the windows. Yertle.
Yeah. Yeah. Yellow.
Oh no.
You kind of look down at yourself. The last couple of months kind of gone by pretty fast. But as you look down, across your neck, there are these vast gashes of just missing skin. And as you kind of pull your turtle-like hand up to it, it's still covered in like these bursted cracks where flowers are blooming out of your arms. You pull an entire intact shark tooth out of your neck.
Oh.
That forms just
hell
this
yeah.
solid stream of blood as you kind of pull it out, as it's coated in this thick, red, kind of like viscous liquid.
Do I have any in me?
I mean, do you have a band-aid?
I mean, yeah, I am the one with the med kit as well. But yes, I would
I'm
heal
pretty-
myself because I was pretty dead.
I'm pretty sure. Wait, did Julian take my fucking med kit from me?
No.
My healer's
I don't think he
kit?
did.
No. He left that on me.
Oh yeah, because Gale had one.
Yeah,
Oh.
I had multiple.
I had a finite amount of things I could take, man. I mean, and that jacket was a priority.
You left me with the Keith key card. At least I have that identity. Still. Don't have
Is this
Bruno
like one of
anymore.
the big chonkin teeth, or is this like one of the small
Yeah.
shark teeth?
Yeah.
And how much-
This is one of the hammerhead teeth.
Ooh.
Do I have any in me? Saying which ones were I bitten by? I was definitely bitten by the Strahd shark. I think I was
you'd
bitten
know
by
that-
all of them.
There are no teeth currently intact in you. You're just pulls out this massive one. You can look down at yourself. Your entire torso, the front part of the shell, has just been absolutely just cracked and broken to shit, with all of these like bite marks and fissures that kind of run the whole length of your chest. The shell is still like intact, but it's just decorated with all of these sort of like just punctures and fissures that run all just along it, to the point where you can see a majority of your actual tummy through the chest, through the torso part of the shell itself. It's been thoroughly damaged by the sort of shark chomping you endured.
That's some heckin' chonkers.
And sort of on the inside of each one of these breaks in the shell, there is sort of just like not even like the skin, but like the interior of the wound that kind of just like it's closed up a little bit with sort of the first aid you received, or just being like conscious right now. But the wound has had very little time to sort of actually sort of
To knit itself back.
Do they use the car's like effect now in a hostile kind of environment?
You're not sure that'd be entirely. They might be a little miffed if you did that.
All y'all knows right now is anything decided to attack him in his current state and condition, he ain't gonna survive. How big was the tooth? Like, size-wise, could I, like, use it as a small cutting instrument, or is it a more necklace size?
It's more suited for a necklace, something like that. It's quite small. It's only as big as one of your fingers.
That's still good enough. You put it between the fingers and punch a cunt with it.
Yeah, it's definitely pointy.
Definitely pointy.
Hurt you, probably hurt them.
Exactly. Hurt both. Keeping the shark tooth. This is a reminder. Or pocket that. Look at everyone around and be like, we've done good for ourselves, haven't we?
That could be worse.
He looks at Baby Man as Julian says something like, yeah, at least we're not Baby Man.
Wow.
Oh, at least I don't have to be here to suffer the consequences.
You see, this guy kind of gives you a slow, long look as he like just turns his head towards you, Yurtle, and he says, "You got a real big mouth for a fucking turtle." And he kind of tightens his grip on the shotgun in his hands.
Naturally have big mouths, so they can swallow fish and that a bit bigger than their head. Unlike snakes that dislocate their jaws. We don't
Yurtle
have
starts
that.
teaching biology.
Yeah, he seems like a little like put off, like kind of caught off guard by just the actual factual information. And it kind of shuts him up better than any like comeback would have.
Boom! Biology, bitch! Oh, goddamn.
However, both Gale and Dante. I probably also do a quick roll here myself.
Well, alright.
Steve. First version
Yeah.
Mizrim, other than those Miriam's good.
Miriam, Gale, and Dante. It's going to take in your surroundings. Dante can only having the small little lantern to kind of provide you with your sight. Gale with actual dark vision. You all three notice as this road kind of keeps going off onto this sort of like dirt path. There is this large silhouetted tower that kind of rises up out of the tree line near the river itself. And as you can look it over, Dante, you're the first to recognize it as being one of those like
Forest fire, like?
yeah, it's like a forest fire watchtower. Sort of just out and about in the wilderness itself. It's got sort of like this very long stretch of ladder that kind of goes up to like a little ramshackle kind of hut thing at the top. That's definitely one of those like fire watch sort of outposts out in the woods. There are no lights on anywhere around it. You're not sure it's inhabited at all.
It's definitely haunted.
But what
Worst
kind of
things in
piques
this
your
place.
interest about it as you're kind of like driving up past it is you hear, and as it kind of like creep like as your ears kind of perk up, you see that Miriam and Gil kind of also catch it. There are the sounds of another vehicle moving.
Hello?
Okay,
Like-
sorry, internet's really tested me. There are the sounds of another vehicle moving off in the trees, and as you kind of look out, you catch just like a glimpse of about like 100 to 150 feet away a like purple van, kind of just losing itself in the tree line as you guys kind of drive past, going towards the tower, kind of from the road you're currently driving on. Probably having gotten there about maybe like 2 or 3 minutes ahead of you guys. And you guys kind of just catch it as it kind of like drifts around the road and kind of further into the tree line, kind of just escaping from view as you just see it go past.
Huh. All right then.
Yeah, so the car keeps kind of like piling out, the ambulance kind of going across the road. Everyone sort of inside with the werewolf sort of peeling out of the motorcycles out and around behind. And eventually, as the car kind of rounds a corner, this drive lasts for about 10 minutes, kind of heading off further into the woods, until eventually you can all see kind of coming into form, off on the side of the road, this small little clearing that has sort of like this cement and asphalt kind of like peel over parking lot area. It's in kind of this clearing of trees that has these massive telephone wires sort of like extending back up with these big metal poles of like power lines going up and all and around. And as you guys kind of drive up, you are face to face with this small wooden sort of cabin looking building with this glowing red and blue open sign that has this big metal signpost up on the top, sort of nestled in the cabin's roof, that reads The Wolves' Den.
There it is.
That's the place. Oh no.
By the way, do I roll to heal myself in the ambulance?
You heal yourself.
Okay.
Heal someone else.
The ambulance's ability only works once per day, and it was used during the chase.
It
So,
was.
and we don't get a short rest, so most of us are still sitting pretty on one. Gotcha. Just making sure.
Yep, an hour is not passed.
Damn.
Can I give a little peek at my neck? How's that doing?
Kind of like pulling away from Phil as you guys kind of like peel up to this small little cabin area. You kind of take off a little bit of like lowering your collar and like a scrap of cloth you had tied around your neck. You kind of press 2 fingers up, and you still feel the holes at like the base of your neck where the vein is. And it's gonna run your fingers across. You can't really get a good look at it, but you feel the wound has not closed. Like you could still like there's still a hole there. You could still like stick something in. It's not bleeding though, and like as you kind of run your hand over it, that area on your neck is like really cold.
Can I try and take a picture of it with my phone to see it more clearly?
Are you like hiding the fact that you're doing this? We'll Phil over here.
I'll give it a go.
Oh, go make a sleight of hand check for me.
Ooh.
With a 7, you go to like take the picture, and you're kind of being pretty sneaky about it, kind of like leaning over to the side, being very nonchalant. You don't realize that the flash was on. So you kind of like just this light kind of exudes out from you, kind of whips around and says, "The hell are you doing?"
Taking a picture.
Kind of like leans over, sees the picture on the phone as it kind of comes up, and you both look at
Yeah, I kind of lean into him, kind of show him. So, think that's gonna get infected?
the flesh itself seems to have gone like pale, kind of losing some of like the pigment and like the red. Either that like a wound should have, or even just like the natural coloration of your neck. that bit kind of smoothly just kind of fades and almost like just short of just all gray coloration as the flesh looks like it's just dead. And you see Phil's face kind of goes to a look of shock as he kind of looks you up and down. And he says, "You got in a right scuffle then, didn't you?"
You should see the other guy.
Kind of chuckles at you a little bit. And he says, "Well, with that under your belt, we'll see how you fare in here." And he kind of chuckles to himself.
What magic will live?
And he says a small little beep, beeping that exudes from the ambulance. He kind of backs it up into sort of the parking space of this bit. And as it sort of stops, he turns the vehicle itself off, kind of taking the keys out of the ignition. And he kind of motions to you, Julian, as he then goes and opens his and heads out of the vehicle.
I go to get out.
As you do, the other sort of motorcycled gentlemen kind of peel past, all park up, sort of in front of the actual like porch of this building. It's like a small little deck that kind of rests out in front of the front entrance. That is like a small wooden rocking chair and like a little wooden end table. And kind of through inside, you can see that all the windows are kind of brightly lit from indoors, with the soft sound of music playing, and you see a bunch of silhouetted figures kind of like moving about inside the actual building itself. And as sort of the thuds of the ambulance door kind of go close, this guy Phil kind of walks around to the back and swings open the side and back doors, as the other two, Hudge and Johanna, kind of just slide out, still shotguns in hand. And Phil says, "All right, all you out. Out!" And kind of starts making little motions with his hands for you all to exit the ambulance.
Well, I leave, obviously. Where am I? There we go. Out. I then steal a motorcycle and drive off. No, not actually.
Make an escape. No.
Make an escape roll.
I'd like to make an escape check.
Oh yeah, roll for escape.
All right.
Okay. Shame that wasn't an actual roll.
I said roll an escape roll, not a stealth check.
That was the same thing.
No.
No, if you wanted a stealth check, you'd say roll stealth.
If I wanted you to hide, I'd say roll a hide check. This is a getting away check.
Well, that was 16.
It was DC 30, so actually you would have failed anyways.
Darn.
Shame.
What's my modifier?
-1.
Oh,
Darn.
Dante famously never runs away.
You're right. Very stubborn.
And as these people start all kind of dismounting their motorcycles, the big swings of their legs, to kind of move and flank you guys, kind of surrounding you each as you all kind of make your way up to the porch. You were all led sort of to the actual front doors itself, to which Phil turns back towards you guys. And he says, "Oh, I said it again. Or I said it, shit. And I'll say it again. No funny business. I'm serious. Alright?"
No promises.
I slowly look over at Lecker.
I'm out of juice. I can't really do anything.
He kind of moves past Yertle and Gale right up to you, Leku.
I
And he goes and
mean,
he grabs you by your collar.
Not a leader.
Kind of pulls you close, and he says, "I'm sorry. Nobody told me you were deaf."
well, not deaf, but I mean, you're looking at a bunch of children.
He's very hard of hearing and stubborn.
Leku doesn't talk much.
I mean, theoretically, by the just general way children's minds work, funny business is what we generally do. So, I don't know. I'm just more thinking about it logically rather than just on
Um,
promise basis.
Don't you see how dead he sounds?
Leku, as you're kind of talking, all of a sudden your words are interrupted by a slap.
Oh.
Very poor slap.
Are you sure he slaps him?
Yo.
Slaps
And just-
himself.
He would technically have advantage because he's grabbing you, but this also might not hit. Yeah,
Wow.
he kind of brings his hand up, and as you go to like flinch out of the way of just like this slap of the hand, the flinch is so severe you just end up kind of dodging the hit.
Just move my head back and just keep talking.
And he goes to like push you. So go ahead and make a strength save for me.
You mean the thing I'm weak
Get
in?
him.
Have disadvantage on? Oof, that's a -1, Chief.
Yeah, he grabs you by your collar and throws you into the ambulance. He's kind of smack up against it, taking a d6 of what is technically falling damage.
Yo, you just got fucking launched.
You get slammed for 4 as you almost like dent the car by getting thrown into it so hard. And he kind of stands over you, kind of pattering across with these boots through this parking lot area to kind of like leer above you, and he says, "I said no. Funny business. You pull smart mouth shit like that in front of Creel, and you're gonna get a lot worse, you hear me?"
Fair enough.
It seems that time you heard me. Are we
I
clear?
mean, I heard you the first time. I was just stating a logical fallacy.
You're right, though.
Kind of narrows his eyes as you, and then he just kind of just staggers back, walking up towards the front. And he sort of swings open the door, kind of gesturing to you all, as then Drago kind of just swaggers up in front and sort of strides in, kind of readjusting his coat as you all walk into the wolf's den.
Heh. Stupid man.
He's like the only
Got
one
it.
heard out of them, other than Bruno,
Got-
who we don't know
got
what happened
me.
to.
Got beat by some
Bruno's fucking beyond, man. They had to ice him.
Part of the ship, part of the road, part of the pit crew.
You want to give that one a retry there, Chief?
Part of the road, part of the pit crew. That's what it is, man.
That's what it's all about.
Just when you originally wanted to go say it, you kind of struggled
Well,
a bit there.
Part of the ship, part of the crew. I was auto-translating it during the sentence. Oh.
You are all let in to this very like dark wood plank bar that has all sort of these wooden tables kind of set up all around with immediately you hear kind of like the clacking of sticks against
They're playing pool.
polished smooth like a surface like these smacks as you kind of look over and you see there's a big pool table kind of right next to you and a jukebox kind of blaring like really old rock kind of throughout the room. The place is mostly empty aside from the huge swath of the now steps into the actual room itself. With only about like 4 or 5 people kind of actually in the room as you walk in. And the first thing that catches your attention is you are all looking to the back of somebody sitting in a bar who's got this ice pack kind of pressed up against the back of his head.
Fucking
And you see the large, muscular, jacketless Bruno, sort of in this red tank
Get
top,
fucked.
sitting at the bar with the rest of these sort of bikers kind of like just scattered around the room as you all kind of actually stride into the place.
Oh yeah, the ceiling fans.
Oh yeah. Wait, I gotta. Oh no, that's
Stan!
no. Stan!
I like Stan.
You see there's a lot of people that now kind of make up this room as you all kind of walk in, and the room kind of gets quiet, at least verbally as you kind of walk in. No one's really talking, as you guys kind of stride across this big sort of bear pelt rug that kind of just tossed out over the floor. The two people playing pool just kind of give you the stink eye with these cues in hand. So this one kind of like leaning up against the table, kind of leaning on it. This one just holds it in these two big, meaty, firm hands. As you guys kind of let in with Drago, kind of just like swaggers through the room, doing this weird like walk where he's like leaning back as he walks. So like his feet go to step, and then hit the rest of his body comes like a second later, and like this weird like stride up where he like moves his hands back and forth. And he kind of strides up to Bruno, who you all see now kind of like turn around to face him at like a this angle, so he doesn't quite see everybody else. And you all see he's got across all of his clothes, his red tank top has been absolutely shredded to pieces by sword slices and like bear claw marks. And he's got these pair of like really cool like dark aviator shades tucked into like the top of the shirt. And you see that both the lenses have been absolutely shattered, with the left one having no glass really still in, except for like a few spikes around like the actual metal frame of it. And he's got these huge like bloody gashes that have been mostly kind of like with there's like the first aid, like the really tiny band-aids. They go on like just different like little spaced out bits on the wound. He's got a lot of those, kind of patched himself up together. Still looking really worse for as he kind of spins around. And Drago kind of makes his way up and says, "Hey, Bruno, we got a surprise for you." As he says, kind of like walking up. You see this big boy kind of turn around with like this like groan. And then he kind of just like continues the turn until he sees all of you. And his face goes into this just wicked grin as he kind of sits up and says,
give him a wave.
Well. And he kind of takes the ice bag, kind of sets it down on the bar, and goes to stride up as Drago kind of does like this weird little like about face like spin to like whirl around and be facing you guys as he kind of strides up with Bruno, the two of them kind of coming up towards you. And you see Bruno looks at Yertle. Or no, who has Bruno's jacket now?
Julian does now.
Yeah,
Julian stole it from me, knowing I stole it.
He looks up at Julian. And he just kind of points to you, not even at the jacket, just like at your face. And he says, "I'll be taking that back now."
Kind of one eye blinking at a time, being on 1 health and nearly dead. Kind of look up at someone pointing at me, just some blurry figure. Point at myself. Huh?
"My jacket, please."
Squint as I shuffle forward. Wearing a jacket? Oh, I'm wearing a jacket.
You guys get tossed over the arm that's not there. It's like over the
I
shoulder.
have to keep like picking it up and putting it back over my no shoulder.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the big man? Is that Bruno? Did we ever get his name?
Yeah, he says his name is Bruno. He introduced himself to Lazia.
Hey, Bruno! Walk up and kind of just pat him on the gut. How you doing?
he looks really taken aback as you go to pat him on the gut, and he kind of lays a hand on your shoulder and just like balls it like a fist as he grabs the jacket and swings it off of your shoulder and onto his over his back.
Ugh.
And then he looks kind of like over the two of you, Yertle and Julian, looks back at Phil and says, "You guys really fucked him up."
You should see the other guy.
Yeah, no, I got fucked up by a shark.
We fought a shark, dude.
Phil.
What happened?
Sorry.
How are you alive?
Don't know who brought me back.
No,
That's why I
you're
asked.
Bruno.
Bruno, how are you? I didn't kill him. I knocked him out.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I knocked him out and stole his wallet and jacket. Fucking.
Real class act. He's just kind of looking over you, Yertle.
Hey, what happened
Yeah.
to that coffin?
To be
What
fair,
happened-
you started it.
It is
What happened to
started.
that coffin, anyways?
I think that's dead. Dead.
I think that's gone.
I look down and I start to get a few tears, man. It's dead.
Good memories of that coffin.
Oh, we lost someone, you dick.
Wait, what? Question, did Yertle have to give away the door?
Isn't the door
No, I
still
still got
in the...
Okay.
I still
Sorry,
care.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'd probably,
I
it'd probably
was
still be in
just
the
wondering.
ambulance unless you took it with you. And they probably would have
What's the-
stopped you from doing that.
I was just wondering if the door was considered a weapon.
A fedora.
No, the door.
If it's the
Oh,
door,
it's the
not a
door.
fedora.
Okay. Well, he said fedora weapon.
Fedora.
I mean, to be
Well,
fair,
it's like a-
fedora
it's like a
weapon would
frisbee.
be hilarious. There is a cowboy weapon that shoots lasers in Devil May Cry. It's the cowboy hat. I love it.
Hope you're all happy after that chase we got eaten up. We sit down.
He looks down at you a little bit confused, looks up at Phil, and says, "A shark? How'd you manage that?"
That was a
We went into-
submarine.
Weird stuff. If you don't believe me, you can look inside of me, or my friend has a too.
Truth. Fuck off.
Wait. Well, I think he has a tooth inside of him. At least parts as well.
I don't know.
And then Phil
definitely
kind of
have
steps forward and says, "We need to talk to Krill."
I can barely stand. If you want me talking, I'm not going to be making much sense.
He kind of comes over to you, kind of puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "You're gonna tell Krill the same thing you told me.
What,
Easy peasy."
what did I tell you?
Kind of sighs, a little exasperated. And he says, "You're just gonna explain what happened. If you can't do it, one of your friends will."
I will try to recollect the night.
Bruno and Dre kind of step back, and Phil kind of wheels you over to one of these chairs, and he sits you down at the table. And he says, "Now just wait here, nice and easy."
Okay.
Glad it's not me.
It comes over to the bar as the rest of the
Make
people
myself
kind
at
of
home.
Yeah, shoving their you guys forward to sit sort of down at the table.
I give a half seat for Miriam.
He looks a little confused, and then walks all the way around the table. Sits down kind of in like the in-between bit.
I'm gonna pop one of my toothpicks in, and then I'm gonna start playing with the salt and pepper shakers.
You just like pick him up. What are you doing with him?
No, I'm like pouring like the salt out into my hand and kind of just like playing around with it.
All right.
Then like unscrewing the cap and then pouring it all back in, then screwing it back on and then pouring it out again.
You guys kind of overhear just like literally right next to you at the bar, as Phil kind of walks up, and this woman at the bar, this very pretty one with these sort of like 50s, like the white big, almost like goggle-like sunglasses.
Oh, hell yeah.
With sort of like this low-cut plaid blouse, kind of leans forward over the bar, kind of like just brandishing like a bottle. She kind of looks over at Phil, and she says, "Those little cuties gave you that big of a trouble?" And Phil looks back at all of you and turns back and says, "They're casters, Bianca. You know a thing or two about that." And you watch like just behind these sunglasses, woman kind of eyes up each of you across the table, and she says, "I don't see the girl." And Phil says, "That's why I need to talk to Krill. Right now." She kind of looks at him, looks at all of you again, and she heads back through this door behind the bar. Kind of closing it behind her, she kind of just disappears.
Hey guys.
Yes.
I
Is
still
Lucky
have
gonna
my-
die?
What?
What?
I
I think that was
Have
in
a few-
character, I don't think.
I thought that was
it
out
is-
of character. Sorry.
No, it is in character. I'm trying to like whisper in Leku.
Okay.
Yeah, you kind of lean forward like a little huddle almost. You're able to talk with any of the werewolves kind of hearing.
I have a few different things in my bag of holding. Don't know how useful they'll be, but I could start a fire if that helps.
Lucky, the last time you started a fire, we all died in the hospital.
Well,
The last thing we need to do right now is show any of the cards that we have in our hand right now.
true. I'm
That's
just
perfect.
letting you know what I'm capable of. I've still got stuff.
Best case scenario, if we play our cards right with their leader, we'll just be allowed to walk free.
How if the cards were right, they might actually help us.
I doubt it because we fucked them up, but
I do doubt it too, but hey, you never know.
Miriam leans forward and says, "What exactly are the cards that'll let us get out of here?"
I gasp as I lean forward. The cards!
the cards. No, well, I mean, like, I'm
Yeah.
still packing heat, if you know what I mean.
So am I.
I'm gonna look around for anything that look. Oh god, who
Oh, son of a bitch, put it away!
who grabbed all of those out? Get rid of them. Oh, now I've got a
The
black
cards,
word
the
thing.
cards, the cards.
Yeah,
will tell.
like we.
The past, the
Didn't one of
present,
them
and the
say to
future
look
as
for
well.
the wolves? Refresh. God damn it. I'm gonna look around for anything that looks like out of place for a bar. Like any, like, rune. Because that's what they said it was, some forest
Go make an
rune.
investigation check.
Overlooking a mountain lake, the treasure belongs. Maybe it's in that tower.
Miriam will give you
Ooh.
advantage on the investigation check.
Maybe it is. That is definitely.
Because
actually
that's the
overlooking.
thing that's overlooking the lake.
I didn't see the
That's true,
tower.
too. Plus,
Oh, yeah, no, there was a tower, by the way.
Tower? What did we
There's a
see?
tower overlooking a lake. How much you want to bet it's in there?
I wonder if there are any other werewolves in this area.
Unless that's too on point. I don't know how on point these fortunes are supposed to be.
Yes, I mean, still, it's something.
Bruh.
You slow
Only
me
a ring
down,
over
slick.
here.
It's best that she's not.
Julie, kind of looking around, you see there's a soda machine, there's a jukebox, a couple of records, there's a big stag head kind of mounted on the wall, there's a dartboard. And aside from just like the general stuff kind of piled up around the bar and the TV, you don't really see anything else like in here, especially not like a fucking rune, like any like arcane, like ancient symbol or anything like that. There are, however, 2 doors that lead further in. There's the one that Bianca, the bartender, went through, and there's another one off to the sort of like right side over here.
I'm gonna jimmy around a little and look at Bruno. Just give like a whispered call out to him.
As you kind of turn around, you see that him and Drago both kind of leaning back, kind of looking over at you. Bruno's still very much fucked up, kind of like a little, like almost as hazy as you guys, as he kind of staggers around. Drago kind of standing there, keeping him on his feet, as the two of them kind of just like look at the table you guys are sitting at, kind of like keeping eyes on all of you as you turn around to face him.
Look over at Dante and point at them. That's totally us, dude.
Yeah, except we're better.
Yeah.
But which one is which?
Hey, Drago, Bruno. Hey.
He makes eye contact with you and he just smiles, kind of like a "what's up" kind of look. He doesn't say anything.
Do you guys have orange juice?
He looks down at you, looks over at the bar, and he says, "I'll ask in a second, but we don't get to touch the bar. You gotta go through Bianca for that."
Okay, I'll ask the pretty lady when she's back. I swivel back around and kind of one health pointingly look at Miriam. Like up and down
Looks
slowly.
between you and Dante and says, "What exactly is the plan here?"
Did you not get hit by anything, Miriam?
Well, I usually am for the shooting my way out option. In this very specific instance, I vote for the diplomatic option.
Gail chooses to comment nothing about this because we are in a den of werewolves, and I refuse to believe they're hearing us.
When I look over at Phil, I'm going, "Hey, Phil! Phil!" Oh, you did say your name. Guy who grabbed us. Driver man.
Are you whispering to see if he can hear you, or are you trying to get his attention?
I'm just trying to get his attention.
As you kind of like call out to him, he kind of just kind of sitting in this stool still, kind of like not even like moves. He just kind of swivels around in it. What do you want?
Why did you leave our friend?
Well, she wasn't gonna walk, and I wasn't gonna carry her.
I could have.
And I could have.
I think you would have found them very interesting.
Bruno says, "Now that you mention it, the chick in the red's gone." And he turns over to Phil. And Phil says, "Listen, we pulled him out of some kind of submarine. I don't know what happened. I don't know how it got there, what they were doing in there, but they came out pretty fucked up. And the girl wasn't going to be of any use, and Krill wouldn't have wanted her." And Bruno kind of sighs and says, "Well, it's a damn shame. Should have made a hell of an addition."
She was one of your friends.
And you see this woman over here, kind of leaning against the chair with this guy sitting in it. Who she's got an eye patch and like this bandana on. She kind of smirks and she says, "By the way, your bike's out by the covered bridge." And she kind of reaches into her leather jacket pocket, kind of pulls out on a little carabiner this bit of like motorcycle keys, and she tosses it at his feet. And he looks down at him and looks back up at her and says, "And you didn't bring it back. And she says, I thought you could use the exercise.
I called you fat.
He kind of gives her a glare as he stoops down, kind of snatches the keys up off the ground. And he looks over and he says, I'll be right back then. Come on, Drago. And you see the two of them kind of just like slip around past the table and go head towards the door. And as they do, Bruno kind of turns back to the table that you're all sitting at and he says, and good luck. And he heads out the door.
I give him one of those Clint Eastwood like finger gun. Pew.
Oh, the classics.
His smirk just gets a little bigger, flashing these big pearly whites with these rather sharp canine teeth. As he then just kind of swings himself out the door.
How long did it take us to drive from the covered bridge to here?
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay. So we're looking at like a 50-minute like window here.
50-minute window.
For them to take a short rest.
Oh.
But this time they are walking.
Well,
Yeah, it'd be a long walk, especially through
Like
woods.
a wooded area.
when
At night.
Draco
I guess they're
just,
fucking werewolves, but...
when Draco just give him a lift.
Yeah, Draco also just right
Yeah,
back
I
on
didn't
the
assume
second.
that was
Maybe.
just gonna take him to go for a walk. But then again, your safety in numbers as always. You know? Plus, they are big lads.
Yeah, big lads.
As you're sitting here, Dante, Miriam kind of like taps your hand with her finger, and she puts like her hands on her temples, makes little like motions with her fingers, kind of like squiggly little lines by her head.
I get it. I open up the comm channel in my mind.
It's Dante in the evening.
She says, "Please tell me you have a plan."
So, really, there's two ways that this is going to go down. Either A, we lie our teeth off, and they let us go. Hopefully with our stuff. Or B, they take us captive, which in that case, I'll have to formulate a plan based around where we are being held captive.
Is
kinda
this
like-
with everyone or just Miriam?
This is just Miriam to Dante.
Okay.
She kind of bites her lower lip a little bit, kind of sinks in her half
Now,
chair.
I'll remind you, I still have my gun. And I know
She kind of
Julian...
leans forward, but
got a
doesn't
trump
say
card.
anything verbally because it just comes through her mind. She says, "You can't shoot them."
Like he's
Look who's
just
got all
on
my
the
silver
other
bullets.
side. Like he just sits on the other side of the table, just rummaging around his bag of holding.
She kind of leans back. She says, "Getting out of here is more important than all of our things."
I agree. However, counterpoint, most of our things is what has kept us alive.
I mean, I would be okay ditching my stuff, but I need one of my arcane foci.
Shame I can't summon my sword anymore, because that's not a mechanical thing I can do now.
Like, we certainly can't just leave here without our wands.
You could try.
She purses again and says, "You're very right."
That's half of our artillery.
Is this in their head still, or are they out loud? Because other people are in.
Yeah, it's still in the head, but you can see Dante and Miriam having a telepathic communication. So if you want to signal to Dante to get in on it, you can. You
Oh,
can't
can
talk
you-
to Miriam,
can-
you can talk to Dante.
Oh, oh god, that's a busy mind.
Like he
And,
pulls out
there's
his
already
water
like
bottle.
15 other voices talking anyways. It doesn't matter. What's one more?
Anyone want a drink? I've got some water.
Miriam will nod.
I think I've had enough with water for the day.
That's fair. I pass over the water bottle to Miriam.
She goes very, very, very ornately and neatly kind of pours herself like a cap full. Takes very, very small drinks of that kind of multiple times, still passing the bottle back to you. She drinks about like 4 or 5 caps, but as she passes the bottle back, it's very little water in the actual scheme of the whole bottle. Then she very thoroughly, kind of with like the hem of her skirt, kind of like cleans out the cap and then hands it back to you. Thank you.
I've also got a tinge box in here, but it's not necessarily the only way I can start a fire if we need one.
Why do we need? Why are you? What is
I'm
a tinder
just
box?
trying to think over the kind of weapons we have.
I pull out my lighter. Like, I have.
I mean, I could blind someone with this. I pull out a bottle of black ink. School supplies.
Could definitely squid someone like with that.
Miriam says, I hate that all of our plans have to be running and gunning, but at this point, there's no magical solution.
Lean
I
over a bit.
mean,
Miriam.
I may or may not be able to do a bit.
We are
Look,
the
Dante and Julian,
closest.
myself and Julian, we're good talkers. We can talk our way out of this.
We are the closest we've ever been to one of these cards. It's here somewhere.
I still think it's at the tower, but
I'm good. Oh, I'm preferencing that we might go to the tower. Might give him a lead. I won't ask him
because
what
it does
is.
say it like specifically it says it overlooks the lake.
Could we see the lake from like going here? Was that in
Yes,
view?
both locations oversee the lake.
Okay, so it's either here or there. So
The tower is closer because the tower is like on the shore, but you can see the lake from both places.
I don't know. I just think that because it's a watchtower that is meant to overlook things, I think that's
Yeah.
where it might be.
we can still look here. If it's no reason not to look here.
I mean, I don't even really know what we're supposed to be looking for in general.
Well, they were looking for someone who is dead. I kind of look at everyone, giving them like pretend she's dead look. Don't let that slip.
I just weren't talking common.
But I know you talk common.
Taking a vow of druidic only.
Look, we're in literally the wolves' den right now, so like we need to be nice and act like children and not get lippy and aggressive with literally
Yeah, like
20 wolves.
fucking- I know we like to
As
be
you
quipping.
say that, like he's just like looking at a torch he pulled out of his bag of holding and slowly puts it back in.
Wait, is it like one of Yertle's torches where you have to light it ablaze, or just a normal modern?
It's
torch?
like one of the like fucking cave explorer torches. Like you just light it on
Yeah.
fire.
That's what Yertle uses. Everyone else uses normal torch. Yertle back in the fucking Stone Age.
Like he's right there with you.
As soon as he sees you do that, he'll pull a stick out of his bag, torch out of his bag, and just tap yours.
Now, if we need to get out of here, we can just zip. Like, I can get us out of here right now. We could leave.
How?
Magic.
Well, didn't they take your wand?
Yeah, but I don't need the wand.
You kind of flash a little bit, Julian, the Heartstone.
Yeah.
The magic was inside.
You see, he kind of pulls up this small piece of obsidian on like a thick leather cord that is shaped like a human heart, but it's made of this like rough cut purple gem. As he kind of like just rubs it between his fingers.
Okay. But then what about your wand?
I'll get another one. I kind of do most of my shit through music anyway. Like, isn't my instrument a magic focus for a bard? Or is that being, like, vetoed since wand rule?
Well, so the way that the Spellbound universe works is a good point just to go over all the time.
Yeah.
Is like basically in the eyes of like magical research authority, all casters are like the same thing, but just different people channel their magic in different ways. So like the assumed default is that everybody's a wizard. Most people, it's possible for them to learn magic via books and then produce spells from it. But because some people aren't very good at book learning, it kind of like manifests in different ways. And for Julian, you still study stuff, and you would have a spell book, although you don't need it. That you have all your like known spells in, but often just by playing your instrument, the music just kind of comes out as you kind of channel it through your emotions and stuff like that.
Yeah, don't get me upset. I'm gonna start casting spells. You know, Yodel's a freaking druid. Just, I'm sure you could walk up to that.
I know how
thing
to
and
get Julian
snap
upset.
Hey, look.
Dante dies in the last episode.
Hey, spoilers.
Hey, spoilers! Spoilers!
Wow.
I got that part of the episode. That can't go in there.
Alright,
Yeah.
what time is
Cancel this
that?
episode
10:30,
now.
1:30? Okay.
Oh shit. Sorry
Look,
guys.
Yodel, I'm sure, can't you just like walk up and snap a horn off that elk and that's an arcane focus to a druid? Like,
Yeah.
No, it's more complicated than that.
hell,
If
can't I
that
grab a
thing is
pool
left
cue?
by
I can wave a
an
pool cue around
right?
as like a staff.
Yeah, bow staff. Easy.
I could ask someone
Well,
if that
no.
stag was
A
blessed by a...
staff would require a magical infusion of some sort. You
Do
can't just use
do I look like I have proficiency in Arcana to you, Leku? I'm pure talent, no skill.
Okay.
I still
Is
have
it
Felix's thing, if you ever want to try that.
What?
Felix's
Sounds like a bad idea.
locket.
Oh yeah, I got that still.
I got that still, that's fine, buddy. I got
Oh,
that.
you got it.
Plus I have that Saint
I guess
Angel's
I once
rib
passed out.
Does
in
that
that fight
rib
with
burn
Rover.
count as an arcane focus for a cleric? That's a powerful religious
Does
artifact.
my holy symbol count? Or is that not how this works in this, thinking about it? Because I have one because Paladin, but also I don't want because...
Well, I mean,
Oh,
you
right.
gotta remember the one's gotta attune to you as well, so even if you make one, like, it might
Says
not work
Johnny
with
Two
you.
Ones.
Shut up.
Yeah, Johnny 3 ones.
Wait, what one are you talking about? Hmm?
Risky
So
business.
if we're
did
kind,
you?
we can just, you know, get our shit and go. They won't hurt us, because, you know, what can we do?
Let's just remember to keep our fucking story straight.
Yeah. Arena died.
Yeah! Ryan died.
Who died?
Arena. Our friend,
Oh.
who we swore to protect.
Who's gonna explain that to her brother? I'm not.
Not me. And Dibs Gale doesn't.
What?
I didn't do shit. I'm sorry. I almost died when they died. I
When
was
they-
unconscious.
Well, a lot of us almost died.
Yeah.
Still very
Leku
nearly
laughs at almost full health.
Like he laughs like we laughs in full health.
In full
correct.
health.
Last in full health.
Much more perfect, one would say.
So yeah, a few seconds kind of go by as you're kind of sitting here, kind of going over the plan, making sure everything goes great.
We're just being listened into this entire time, and we just never knew.
Yeah,
Well, they
there's
are all
every single one of
werewolves.
the people in this room is like secretly listening in.
Yeah.
They are werewolves. Would make sense.
After a little bit, as you guys are talking, these two kind of go back to playing pool. But this entire time, even as they're playing and everyone else in the bar, all of the eyes are kind of on you guys as you're sitting here just kind of talking amongst yourselves. They might be listening into you, but like no one is sort of reacting or interrupting what you're saying as you're kind of just talking to each other, kind of like speaking it out together kind of amongst yourselves. And then after a few seconds, you guys hear sort of more hushed voices from the other side of this door, and eventually footsteps leading up to it, as it then goes and sort of creaks back open. And you guys see that woman Bianca kind of come strutting back out, kind of taking a place back at the bar. She kind of looks back through the doorway, and you guys hear sort of this stomping of sort of these big boots kind of thudding against and creaking against the sort of like uneven wooden floors. It kind of makes its way up to the door. And you see, ducking down to get through the doorway is a towering figure. You see a man that must be easily 6.5, maybe 7 feet tall, comes striding out of this door, with these big thuds against the wood, wearing sort of this like low-cut black tank top, with sort of just like this hairy, muscular chest exposed above, with this huge black leather jacket and this swept-back black hair and beard, as this incredibly bulky, muscular man, sort of just covered in hair from head to toe, comes striding out of the doorway. He towers over any one of you, sort of striding across the room, making his way out of the actual bar itself, and kind of coming around the corner of it, over to the corner, over to the edge of it, sort of here between the tables, as everyone kind of goes just completely quiet, looking up at him. And as he kind of walks, this woman Bianca kind of goes to take to his side. As he kind of just with these big thuds, kind of makes his way over to the table. Everyone in the room kind of looking up at him, as he kind of strides over and just looks down at all of you.
Michael, question.
Yes.
Would Leku know whether or not like werewolf types would have like naturally increased hearing that they can't really control?
They do have pretty good senses. You would know that they're very, very good at hearing and smelling.
Fair enough. That might come in handy.
I wonder who would have gave you that thought.
Let's blow a dog whistle really, really loudly.
Well, I mean, technically, with thaumaturgy, you can make anything really loud.
Thaumaturgy and
You don't think they
whistle.
have like mole like super sensitive hearing? Like if there's like super loud sounds, they'll all just like be totally incapacitated.
Fair.
They just have better hearing.
Gotcha.
But a dog whistle still won't work on them. Got you.
Well, maybe.
Well, I'm saying like thaumaturgy probably wouldn't like just insta kill them, but
Mind break them.
No.
Just make it a super high frequency.
Yeah.
I wave
That won't-
slowly at big man.
he kind of strides up, making his way up to the table. Someone kind of goes and takes his arm. And he kind of leans down a little bit, almost kind of like squatting, to kind of get a little bit level with all of you guys. This huge figure. And he kind of looks in between all of you, mostly at Leku and Dante, who are the closest to where he's standing. And he kind of narrows his eyes. And he says, basically to Leku and Dante, he says, "Are you the ones?"
I reckon.
Theoretically.
Who's asking?
He just kind of nods. And he kind of stands up from the little hunch. Holds out a hand to you, Dante. And he says, "Krill Strahd."
I'd take it in kind. Dante cower. And also kind of with the other hand take the hat off and then put it back.
When he goes to shake the hand, he gives it like this really strong, like tighteningly like fixated grip with this big muscly hairy hand. He kind of just like, he doesn't even really shake it. He kind of just holds your hand, just like kind of squeezes it there. And he goes on with the exact same tone, saying, "I was under the impression there was one more of your party. A young girl named Arena."
I look down solemnly when I hear the name.
The shark daughter.
Make a deception check, Julian.
Yeah, baby.
Hohoy!
You just take him like this real kind of choked up, morose look.
Uh,
And he kind of looks down at you, Dante, and over to you, Leku, and he says, "You wouldn't happen to know where she ran off to, would you?"
Last we saw her, she died.
I mean, if you
You see,
need
his
a
words kind of
body,
lose him.
It's going down the river.
He kind
last
of
we
licks
saw,
his
man.
lips a bit. And you see he kind of like shrugs off this woman who kind of like almost goes like stumbling back like a couple feet as he kind of just like throws his arm up. And he walks over to one of these chairs and kind of just like grinding it against the wooden floorboards, kind of drags it up next to the table and sits down in it. Kind of putting his hands under his chin. And he says, "I want to hear exactly how it happened."
I look over at Julian.
Does he also look at me?
As eyes kind of shift to you, his eyes would as well.
I gesture at us. Kind of lean back in the chair. I'm like, well, you see us? It wasn't your people who did this to us. Look at us.
He holds up a hand.
Half of us are barely alive as it is.
"I just want to hear what happened to the girl."
Nod. Well, after our little kerfuffle, we drove to the bridge, and we saw something in the water, and we were curious, and thought anything in it might help, so we went in there. There was a lot of bad stuff, a lot of undead zombies. And while trying to clear it out, that's when the sharks showed up. Our hubris. We were too greedy. We should have just left the last room alone. Sharks attacked us, man.
Julian, go make a deception check with disadvantage.
I mean, that's the truth.
So far.
Can I throw the shark tooth out to be as like proof of the shark attack? To try to help with the get rid of the disadvantage.
Crit as well. Crit as well. Bitch.
Oh, the woes. What were we gonna say, Yertle?
If I threw out the shark tooth as proof about the shark attack and then showing the fact that I look like I've been mauled by a fucking shark, as proof to hopefully negate the disadvantage.
You think he's seen
I'll help.
that you got fucked up by a shark? You don't think that's the part granting disadvantage?
Ah.
Because unbelievable as it might be, looking over, if someone said, like, I got attacked by a shark, and it looked like they had, it's hard to, like, poke holes in that story.
Okay.
Can I make like an insight check to see what he's fishing for?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Well, then.
He'll make just a raw charis. Miriam will help you, so I'll go ahead and just give that one more insight check.
Damn it.
Seth or Dante, you're looking at this guy. He's just kind of staring at Julian as he's explaining what happened to the submarine, and he's just like dead face, listening to it, kind of nodding every now and again to like make sure he like conveys he understood the information being said to him. And you have no idea. He doesn't seem to be showing any kind of real emotion. He doesn't look angry to hear it. Anything like that. And he kind of stands up. And he says, I'm glad that you were honest to me. He nods at you, Julian.
Can I insight that?
Go ahead.
Oof. Oof.
I mean, seems straightforward enough.
Can I also insight that?
Anyone who wants to may insight that's 16 right there.
Fuck. It isn't a
Can
fucking...
Miriam help me to give me my 22?
Nah, she just helped somebody else. I know how it works.
Miriam.
Arena could.
Marina's not here.
This is a game of fucking Curse of Strahd if I'm not rolling like fucking shit.
It's okay. Two of us rolled well.
I used up all my fucking luck in this game getting a nat 20 on Miriam's fucking hairdressing.
Yeah.
That really just sent it all downhill.
It's been downhill ever
Since
since for
then,
me.
it did go actually downhill after that. It's not wrong.
Galen Yertle, as you look up at this guy, it's not even as like clear cut as he does or doesn't buy it. But as you're like looking up at him, you can see a couple cogs kind of turning up in his brain as he kind of looks over like the bunch of you. You're not sure what he does and doesn't buy, but you don't think he thinks Arena is dead.
Okay.
And he kind of turns and he says, Phil. You see at this point, he has had his back turned the entire time, kind of like hunched over a drink, kind of very slowly turns around. And there's a very apparent fear in his eyes as he kind of looks over at Krill, who says to him, I want you and the Outriders Go back to that bridge. See if you can recover the body.
It flowed down river.
Kind of looks down at you.
We brought
And
it
he
up, but
says-
we dropped it in the water. That's why we thought you guys were the wolves when we were going to ask for help, but it was the wolves.
That'll be the starting point then. He looks to Phil when he says, "Search the water." And you see Phil kind of confused, kind of shakily nods. Kind of makes a little hand motion. And you see a couple of the people who were out with you guys sort of go with him as he kind of heads over to the door.
Baby man gonna join him? No. Damn.
No, Baby Man stays behind.
Cat.
And they also head out of the bar itself.
Well,
He kind of looks over all of you.
those people who had some of our stuff.
Yes.
Ugh, kind of.
Phil had your gun. A lot of them had your wands and various bullets and things.
Who has my sword?
I'll say Baby Man had your sword.
Oh, baby man!
Baby man has.
Got it
Baby
slung over
Man.
inside the jacket.
That's my old mate. Need old mate back eventually, baby man. He knows what's good for him. He'll give it back.
And you see that this guy kind of moves his eyes over you, kind of looking you all over one more time. And he says, "They're a bit older than I had in mind. But with these 5. Or shit.
6.
With these 6, that makes 10. That's enough for the bracket."
If you don't mind me asking, what's the bracket?
Does not even turn to you as you're talking. And Bianca kind of looks back and says, "But apparently they're all casters. They look a little shrimpy." She says, especially looking at Leku.
Yeah. Plus, your fellas
That's a bit
just walked
rude.
out with a lot of our wands.
And he says, "It doesn't matter. Get Zool to get all their names. Then you write them on the board." And he kind of turns back to all of you. And he says, "You've been through a lot. Barovia does this to people. I hope that one of you is strong enough to overcome it." And you see it at the end of his lip, there's the smallest bit of a smirk that then goes immediately down to like a straightforward, serious expression again. And he kind of strides past to go back behind the bar.
I can't use the Bruno name, but Keith is back in action.
And you see as he goes back, there's like a weird little thing that you guys kind of just barely managed to see. Mainly people who kind of like facing that direction, the top 3 up here. You all see a look exchanged between Krill, this boy over here, and then this old guy in the corner. Actually, you know what? Leku, Yale, and Yurtle, go roll me insights.
Okay.
I'm able to sight in.
Yeah, you are.
Damn. Okay.
I need to get proficiency in that shit.
We're all able to sight in. Hello?
Oh, damn. Of course you get
Hello,
it
my
now.
baby.
As
Hello,
you
my
three
honey.
watch this
Hello, my
silent
laptop.
conversation
Oh.
take place, you see that as Krill kind of mentions the bracket and getting your guys' names, This guy shoots Krill a very disapproving and almost like disappointed look. Like this deep discontent. And you see Krill just kind of looks, notices the look, and then just walks through the door.
Bad blood between those two. Well, it's going to be anyhow.
And you see this one kind of like strides up to the table. And she says, well, you all look like shit, so we're going to go ahead and have Johanna and Hudge take you back. And she kind of like motions with her hands, like a come here motion. And you see the baby man and this other woman kind of stand up from their table, kind of striding over. At this point, no longer bearing the shotguns, but instead with Yertle's sword and a tire iron kind of slung over their backs. Kind of make their way to either side of the table. And this woman, Bianca, says, everything will be explained in a little bit, but just for right now, get comfortable, take it easy, and try to rest up for tomorrow, okay? You're gonna need it. And she kind of gives you like a little flick on the nose, Dante.
Does 1 point of damage.
No, it
Yeah.
does exactly 3 points of damage down.
And then she kind of swings back behind the bar as these two kind of just stand on either side of the table in the universal time to stand up motion and pose.
Kettle, since it's not actually on a seat, will just probably has been standing the whole time using the door as a way to hold himself up. We'll get baby man. Stare him down.
Make an intimidation check.
I'm not trying to intimidate him, but okay. Also negative fucking 2 no matter what. Nat 20, bitch! Fucking
Wow. God, I wish that were me.
near death fucking
That's not him. That's just regular werewolves.
just
Um,
crunking up fucking death staring baby man.
You're standing there, this fucking turtle man with like a straw hat with a hat on top with a sombrero, wearing a jersey with flowers bursting out of your arms that has been absolutely torn apart by the shark. You're on a single hit point just on death's door, and you still got the fucking
The
Like a
chutzpah.
fucking clown.
the chutzpah, the moxie, the tamales to like grilled cheese this guy. And you see the expression does not change. He does not cower. He does not do anything to betray this like tough guy, like fuck you exterior. But in his eyes, Yertle, you see the smallest bit of fear as he looks down at you.
Hell yeah. That's how we fucking do it.
That's
The
how we
boys.
do it.
And he takes one step back.
One step back.
Trying to not show that he's scared in front of his mates. You know? At least he's trying to hide though.
But they begin to lead you all back towards this door at this point.
Back towards the front door?
No, back towards the back door.
The back
Yes,
right
that-
Oh, that door. Okay. I didn't. I
The
didn't see
back
that.
front door.
Back, front, back door.
This one.
That one.
Yeah, the back, front, back
Ah.
door. Soon that door will be added to the list of doors.
What would I know about the ethereal realm and being able to travel quickly in it? Is it like just normal travel and I'd still have to like run all the way there in real time running?
It would be quicker.
It would be a little bit quicker.
Because you could like pass through shit, right?
And then like,
Yeah,
less
you could
danger.
just run.
You could just straight line it there, right?
Yeah, just like run through trees. And like with like the ghostly wispiness of the ethereal plane, you'd probably just move just a little bit faster regardless. And there's nothing could ever be an obstacle in the ethereal plane.
Can you rest
Except
in
for
the
my plane,
ethereal
really.
plane?
Probably. I don't see why you couldn't.
A little ethereal nap.
As we're walking by, I want to look at Stan and establish mind link, and just say help, and then break it, and then look away.
You see, before you do that, you see this guy gives kind of like a. He's similar to all these people. He's this very rough, burly, biker-looking sort of physique with like this like thick musculature that has like sort of like fat hanging on it. He's got this big bushy gray beard and this bandana over his hair, and he's got like this thick furrowed brow and this scrunched up wrinkled face. He looks like he got really, really wrinkled from smoking a lot and then got old too. So he's like double wrinkled. But that's still over like thick layers of muscle that have kind of begun to brim with fat over the years. And he sits here kind of with a cigarette in his hand as he kind of looks over at all of you. And you all see a look of like, through a sort of like tough exterior and like this tough guy persona, there is a look of pity as he sees you all kind of walk by. And he kind of very solemnly kind of shakes his head. Giving this very, like, desperate look. And then, Dante, you shoot just, like, the one word. And as you kind of look away, the rest of you see this guy shoot Dante, like, a quizzical, confused look. Then he looks like a little, like, taken aback, like his eyebrows kind of raise. And he goes for another puff of the cigarette as this woman here opens the door into the back hallway.
Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu.
We're gonna have to fight werewolves, Dante.
Hell, I'll punch anything for a friend.
Oh.
As you guys are led back into this hallway, you see just there are a number of doors. There's one immediately to your left, which is the one that she intends to seem to be taking you through. There is also 3 more, one at the very end of the hall, the 2 facing each other. And you see the only one that is labeled is this one here, which has a nail driven through the door with like a hanging string sign. There's a little plaque on it that says bathroom. And you see she leads you through this side room. Which has sort of like these wooden support beams kind of scattered throughout the room in like weird places, with this sort of large stitched together kind of mishmash animal rug kind of thrown in the middle, with all of these crates and boxes kind of stacked up in the room itself.
Oh, that's where all the wine
Is
went.
is that the wizard wine I see?
There's some either wine spillage under the rug or something
Or
else.
something's fucking died.
This is like the sacrifice room on Earth.
Wizard of Winery. Meh.
Yeah, you all see this little cute logo on a bunch of the crates. It's been kind of slapped on of the Wizard of Wine's winery, which has like the proud home of the Red Dragon Crush, kind of emblazoned upon it. And if any of you look at it, you see this woman Johanna kind of sees the look and kind of catches it and gives just like a small smirk as she kind of leads you guys through the room.
Is she like making like moves to go to that door too, or is she leaving us here?
That door too, it looks like.
Okay.
As we're walking, and like the creakiness of the big man boots especially, can I feel if there's any like... Is there like an under area to this place?
Like a basmente.
There might be like a small basement, especially more sort of in this area. Like there might be stuff like a tornado shelter kind of deal. You don't get the room of any big basement or anything that'd be under any of the areas that have been walked upon. You would also there's no second story in this building. This is a 1-story flat level building. But she leads you through this room, kind of through a second door, into sort of like a small back room that's just kind of got this like small little like end table with just a cell phone and not a cell phone, a like old landline phone from like early 2000s, maybe 90s, and just this big long wall spaced mirror, and like this like very old like 40s, maybe even earlier looking radio. Like hand dial that then goes to a fourth door at this point that she then swings open and gestures for you all to follow in.
All right, then.
And you see Hudge kind of gives like a shove.
Oh, what the? Hang on. Hang on. Wait a minute.
Hold up.
Hold up.
Second.
Hold up.
I'm holing up at what is potentially my little fucking sister chilling in here.
Wait a minute.
Wait, what?
I just kind of like put the hand around the shoulder, buddy.
And as you look in,
And Voyage is
you
here.
win
Hang on,
some.
wait.
You win some, you fucking lose some, don't you,
How did
Julian?
Voyage get here? The fuck?
and you see looking in, there are 5 figures inside the room.
Loafers.
Yeah, baby, my
One
boy.
is this very tall, sort of dark-skinned woman with sort of this dreadlocked hair, kind of pushed back in this blue bandana, wearing this spiked black leather jacket, and this sort of set of like blue jeans with like very high up leather boots. You see, unlike the rest of the werewolves, she does not have one of these shotguns anywhere on her person or anywhere in the room. And you see she is kind of like, as you guys walk in, she is caught kind of midway kneeling down with this big metal platter that has like these bits of food scraps kind of made out on top of it. You see there's basically like a partially exposed rib cage of like barely cooked meat. And like some just like kind of like bits of what looked to be like other bits of like meat scrap, kind of just like pulled over on the kind of like pulled pork almost, but like just in bigger chunks. On the platter, she kind of sets it down on the ground, and you see as she kind of turns up, you also see that there is a boy in a Sphinx's uniform that is kind of like tattered across. He's lost the actual robe that goes over, and he's wearing like the sweater vest and the shirt and the pants. It's not of a class symbol that you recognize. The zodiac sign that usually goes with the class is not present anywhere on the uniform. It's been like ripped off. You see Voyage, who was one of the girls at the orphanage back in Vallaki. They're both kind of just like off in this room, kind of like sitting down, huddled as they both watch this plate of meat be set down in front of them. There is also a boy in a Boy Scout uniform.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that the Boy Scout uniform?
With this orange and brown, kind of like auburn hair, kind of like cut super short with this
Mississippi.
big cheeked, freckled face. With this Boy Scouts of America uniform kind of tossed over him, like the very high up green shorts and the tall green socks.
Oh yeah, baby.
And as you guys round the corner into this room, you also see a very young girl, with sort of this bright blonde hair kind of pulled into 2 pigtails. And Julian, as you look in this room, you make eye contact with your sister, Emma Farfire.
What?
And you see, as you kind of round the corner and you make eye contact with her, her eyes go wide, and you see like there's a small little like gasp that kind of catches her, and you see she's got like all over her cheeks, her elbows, her knees, like all over like her legs especially. There's like tons of like dirt and like mud and scuffs everywhere. There's bits of like this little dress she's wearing that's got like all these like poked holes and like scratches and nicks and like just these big like loose threads everywhere. Her hair's kind of like coming loose in tufts all over, and you see she's got this super nasty like barely treated at all gash, kind of like where the chin meets the cheek meets the jaw and like the chin. That kind of runs down like the left side of her face. That's like it stopped bleeding at this point. It looks like maybe a couple days old. But it hasn't been cleaned super properly, and it looks like it might be in danger of getting infected. And you see just these eyes just go big as she sees you, and she just kind of is like just frozen there on the spot as you two both make eye contact.
I'm going to run over.
As you kind of run into the room again, it has these like oddly placed wooden support beams, and it's this horrible, like dirty, grimy room that has like all of these just crates and like oil drums kind of stashed around with just like this wooden wardrobe in the corner. You see this woman with kind of like a almost like a disappointed expression. Looks over you and the three incoming people into the room as everyone's kind of shuffling in, being nudged by Hudge. Into this back room as they kind of start pushing you into this sort of like cramped room. And Julian, you watch as you kind of make your way up to her, saying nothing with like little bits of tears kind of welling up in her eyes. She just kind of stands up and just sprints and like thuds herself into your legs as she goes in just a big hug with you.
Attempt to one arm pick him up, but probably just fold and crumple because I'm dying.
Especially with a mage hand, you sort of like sweep her up in both one arm and a mage hand. And she just kind of hugs you very, very tightly, and you hear like the beginnings of a J sound, like like she's trying to say your name, but as she goes to say it, she immediately just kind of bursts into tears and starts choking up, as she just embraces you in this big old hug hold. And as the rest of you kind of shuffle in, someone can take a step back, and you're all kind of face to face with this sight of Julian kind of just hugging his sister, who you probably would have seen it like a picture of her, just can at least see the resemblance and the interaction they're having.
Oh boy, this is awkward.
With tears in my eyes as well, I kind of pulled her back, looking a bit scared. Just, are you okay? What are you doing? Did they hurt you? Are you alright?
She looks like she's trying to stumble over her words, trying to answer each question as you ask it, but can't really get the words out before you ask another one. And she says, and then as you ask if she's okay, she says, "Mm-hmm." And she says she kind of nods like a little weakly, as you kind of like set her down. She says, I'm okay."
Did they do this to you?
As you're kind of asking her that, the other three in the room kind of get like, visibly kind of like sad or uncomfortable as this interaction is kind of going out. And, the rest of you see in this woman's eyes like a look of... Again, these werewolves don't seem to have like a very like just very stony expression. But you do see sort of these layered sort of empathy or sadness as she kind of looks at this interaction kind of going on. And as you're all kind of pushed in there, Gale last, kind of like with just a foot in your back, kind of stumbling into the room. You see this woman kind of gestures to the other woman and sort of makes a come here motion. And she kind of shuffles out as the two leave the room and the door swings closed behind you all.
Well, this sucks.
Yeah.
That was out loud.
And you see, as this guy seems to spot one or two Sphinthus uniforms, he kind of staggers to his feet and starts kind of looking around at all of you.
Do we recognize Lofus? Like, we obviously know the uniform, but like, do we know him from class? at
No,
all?
not at all.
Okay.
You've never met this guy whatsoever.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've met Lofus, but I've never met Lofus. You know what I
Dante
mean?
has never met Lofus.
I missed him. I missed him.
The legend himself is back.
That's where we're gonna cut from this half
Oh,
of this session of Curse of Strahd.
Woo!
Uh,
Wow. Cut 2.
Easy stuff.
Am I right, boys?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's hope they had enough time to unfuck themselves.
oh no.
Alizia, starting this off great. Go ahead and roll me some hit dice for a short rest, whatever you got left.
Yeah, baby.
At least you got a nap. At least you got a nap in, man. Just roll them all, fuck it. Just roll them all, baby.
If you hadn't rolled any today, yeah, go ahead.
I can't use my arcane restoral because I've already used it today.
You want a short rest, so these are the only 2 I have left.
It's a good 10. It's
Oh,
incredibly below average.
Arena has 1d8, so we're gonna go and roll with that.
Ooh.
Hey, Michael, it's like 8 for me. Are we gonna be needed for the rest of this?
I think that after we do the Arena Leslie, you're probably gonna end.
Okay, I might go to sleep then.
If you need to, that's totally fine.
Cool.
Fair enough.
I'll check out the bots tomorrow if I do drop early.
Okay, cool.
Cha-cha-pow.
Well, I don't know what the damage is.
Bro, they have my fucking
So,
sister.
it's over.
Fuck.
Time to go eat myself off a bridge. Cool, no objections. Bye.
I would have wasted like his one objection. So, Alizia,
Okay.
you get hit with the sound of running water before anything else. And you just hear it all around you, and you realize that your leg, the one that can still feel, is entirely soaked as your eyes slowly start to flitter open.
Okay, so I have both my eyes. That's good to know.
And the first thing that kind of comes to you is that you feel like absolute ass. Your entire body aches. You haven't eaten in so long. And you just feel so incredibly drained. The last thing you remember was ejecting the blood crystal from your leg and using that to try and revive Yertle. And you saw a flash of movement as the spell went off. Just his body at least reacted. And you saw him open his eyes, and then you immediately closed yours, and that was it. And as your eyes kind of flutter open, you're greeted with the sight of a river. And you still feel the cold metal surface of the submarine that you're currently lying on top of. And as you pull yourself together, you see across from the sort of main hatch of the submarine is Arena, who is also pulling herself up, just kind of flittering her eyes, very groggily, kind of like coming to. And she kind of like looks around, very confused, kind of pulling herself up into a sitting position, still technically prone on the ground. As you two both kind of rise up.
Well, Lacey's gonna sit up the best she can and just kind of drag herself out of the fucking water. Not really paying much mind to Irene. I'm more worried about what the fuck is going on.
You kind of crawl up further, and you realize at this point that I guess you don't realize, you would have known. Your leg is currently not functioning. Nothing is powering it. So as you go to like climb, you basically have to drag just the dead weight of this big long strand of metal coming out of your hip to kind of pull yourself up. And as you kind of like pull yourself up out of the water and onto the actual like sort of more flat, bare surface of the submarine, you look around and there is no sign of anyone. There are no lights, no people. And even sort of from here, you can see that the ambulance, just dark against the sky, is entirely gone.
She's going to let out a huff and pull out the whip out the defibrillator to. I don't know how well this is gonna work, but this is her best shot she has right now. Try and jerry rig the battery into the leg.
As you're gonna like attach defib hands, all of a sudden, this huge wave of what is simultaneously nausea and an upset stomach mixing with this shock of like searing, stinging pain kind of moves up from your chest up towards your throat. I need to make a con save for me.
Oh, this is good. This is lovely. Oh, that's a 12, not meant to be with advantage.
Ooh, you go sprawling out prone again on your hands and knees, and you watch as you just retch all over the side of this submarine. It kind of just like expands across the metal itself, kind of mixing down into the river itself. We're getting swept away. And you see, as you just sort of vomit out onto the submarine, kind of as your eyes kind of blink up and kind of look down at it, you see it's all just red. Covering your hands now and the side of the submarine, kind of getting down in the waters, this trail of blood going down through the river itself. As Arena kind of, you hear these metal thumping footsteps kind of rush up to your side. Alicia, you okay? At which point you feel sort of like this, again, this shock of pain. And a little bit more blood kind of just comes spurting up from the mouth as you kind of just like spattered across the top of the submarine again. And after sort of the second wave, you kind of start like panting there, kind of holding yourself. You feel incredibly faint. And you look down at your hand and see that it's incredibly pale, almost like shock white against sort of the dark gray of the submarine's kind of exterior hatch. You feel like you've lost a significant amount of blood in just your wounds and also in casting the spell to revive Yertle. And looking down at yourself, you see, as you kind of like hold up your hand, the veins in your arms are like swollen to the point where they're incredibly visible through like the top layer of skin on your arm. And you can see that the veins look like almost like smaller than usual, and you can feel like this weird kind of pulsing coming from them, like they're throbbing and hurting. And as you kind of look down, you feel that your skin has almost like this like sleek, softer quality to it than sort of your roughed mechanic arms are used to having. Like callous and used to working machines and taking hits. You've lost some measure of like the toughness present in you. And as you kind of try to like take the battery to very like problem oriented, trying to solve the problem of getting your leg back in shape, you think that whatever you've done has severely weakened you through all sorts of blood magic and just your physicality itself. Until otherwise, you have vulnerability to slashing damage.
Oh.
That is sort of constant. When you go werewolf and gain resistance, that just means that slashing damage you still take in normal. No other statistical changes.
Well, she's gonna just. That is not as bad as I expected to be, but that is still fucking awful. She's going to just roll back onto her back and just stare up at the sky, not just unresponsive for a little bit. Obviously, like blinking and shit, but
Yeah, you're still like alive. Yeah, you're not just time to die.
Time to die.
She kind of goes to she kind of still like holding her arms on you. Like Arena kind of just like shake you almost. She kind of like just lay out, but seeing you're fine, she kind of takes her hands off, and kind of letting you lie. She kind of stands up on 2 feet and kind of looks around. I can't see a fucking thing. And you hear Arena kind of fidgeting in her hip until she pulls out a flashlight. And you see she begins to shine it around. Kind of just out and about from the submarine itself. And then she kind of curses under her breath. And kind of turns back to you and says, Alesia, can you walk?
She's gonna sit up the best she can. Spit out a little bit of blood.
No more like comes up, but just something that's still lingering in the mouth. Kind of just like a off to the side that can just splats against the exterior of the submarine.
I'm borderline dead. The leg's not working, but I think we can make this work. How many bullets you got?
She reaches into her back pocket, pulls out her pistol, kind of like takes out the magazine out of the handle. 13.
Okay, and I got 4 shotgun shells. Oh boy. Yeah, just one moment. And she's gonna go back to trying not to think about what the fuck happened to her and what the fuck she did in that heat of the moment. And try to just, however functional it'll be, the battery. That is her main focus right now, to get her leg working.
Go make a Tinker's Tool check. And as you begin to start doing it, you see Arena kind of comes over and says, Elisa, let me... And she kind of like gets down on her knees. Go roll with advantage, because she's going to help you. Oh yeah, with a 21, that'll do it. You sort of pop out the defib's battery, taking it out, opening up the hatch in your leg, kind of starting to fidget around some of the wires, insert the battery, kind of like mess with the adapter a little bit. Some sparks kind of go off, and Arena kind of just like, not really mechanically minded at all, just helps you by like handing you things and like holding things in place while you do most of the work. You'd honestly rather have her not there. You can do this shit on your own, but it does help it go faster. So you kind of reluctantly accept the help as this kind of goes on. After a little bit, you hear like a powering on, sort of sound like this little flash of red light kind of comes from the leg for a second. Your leg is currently powered, but you don't think this will last forever.
Okay.
You imagine that this sort of temporary battery might only last for maybe like a day, maybe a little bit longer than that. But you don't have long on. You can take it out if you're like gonna sit down or lay down or something. But
No, she only needs like 24 hours. Then she'll have her blood back and she can make a new crystal. Okay. Let's. Okay.
yeah, you stagger to your feet, kind of stand up.
Lizzie is trying really hard not to panic right now.
Elysia, where did they? Why would they leave us? Why would they leave you? She's just kind of looking around and says, "Where did they drive? Where?"
I can understand why they leave me, but why would the person obsessed with you leave you? That's what I want to know, especially when you're being fucking hunted.
She kind of glosses over the obsessed with me bit, but she gives you a look like she definitely heard it, and she says, "Do you think they just went to Kirkland? Should we head there?"
Do you think you can make it there by yourself?
Her lips kind of purse, and she says, "I think we should stick together."
You don't want to go where I want to go. Kind of looks
Where
up
are you
again.
gonna go?
I need to talk with the bikers.
Are you kidding me? She says, kind of like moving closer. She says, "They tried to shoot us. They tried to kill us."
They were fine with me until they saw you.
She's kind of momentarily taken aback by that. She says, "You stole their bicycle and their jacket, and you have one of their guns. If you show back up, they'll kill you." We just need to find the others. And then we can just sort this out together. And that's all we need to do.
You can find the others. They obviously don't fucking want me if they left me to die here. After fucking reviving Yertle and all that shit. Kind of stomps the ground a little bit annoyed and lets out a sigh.
She says, I remember we carried you out of the submarine. Yertle carried you. And we got up, and we were carrying Gale. And there was the shark. Fuck, I don't remember. She kind of pinches the bridge of her nose. And she says, there has to be some reason that they left us here. There has to be some reason they left us behind. But I don't know why they wouldn't leave Gale.
Okay.
kinda
Even she
tapped-
knew.
Well, because Gale was also unconscious.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
I
doesn't
mean,
know
look,
that he
Gale-
powered his way up.
But I mean, she theoretically even knew the fucking plan was for Gale to stay behind.
She was knocked out.
I know, she was knocked out, but she instinctually knew the plan.
Why would she instinctually know?
It was for Gale to stay behind, but it didn't.
Okay.
Oh, I thought
there's no point-
like everyone knocked out was left here.
First, we gotta figure out how the fuck we're gonna get to wherever we're going.
Well, we can't walk across the water again, can we? Can you cast that?
I don't even use a wand most of the time. Machines and blood.
What the hell kind of a wizard are you?
What do you expect? Do you expect a normal wizard, to be a werewolf or something? I'm not. I don't even. She starts to laugh a little too uncomfortably.
Irina shares in the uncomfortableness. She looks a little off-put as you kind of like chuckled about to yourself, and she says, "I can swim decently enough. The current isn't that strong, but can you with your leg?
Well, it's working now.
I mean, just, will it sink? Will it rust? I don't. Are you good to go?
Well, I mean, either I die here trying to swim or die somewhere else. Let's see.
Okay, we at least need to get to shore." And she goes in and she pockets the flashlight. And she goes to slide her way down sort of the sleek surface of the submarine, kind of getting her feet in the water. And she kind of just takes off from the submarine, kind of paddling out towards the shore, and kind of stops halfway, kind of treading water to look back to see if you're coming.
She's going to stare at the water for a few moments and then gingerly hop in.
Instead of a splash, you do sink like immediately at first because your leg and arm are very heavy. You kind of like just immediately shoot down through the water, but eventually the buoyancy kind of catches up. And you sort of float back up to the surface. Definitely weighed down. It's harder to keep yourself afloat, but you two both do manage to kind of swim across, pulling yourselves both soaking wet sort of up onto the shoreline. Kind of mixed in with all the trees. At which point, I want you to make a perception check for me.
Oh boy.
You see that while the ambulance is gone, as you kind of stride your way through the sort of shoreline, kind of heavily wooded, up back to the street, you see that Bruno's stolen motorcycle is still just there at the covered bridge.
Okay.
Quick question.
Go ahead.
Am I needed for anything in the future, or am I good to...
Anyone who was in the A team, I guess, the team one, you may take off at this point because after I finish the arena section, the session is just going to end.
Okay.
So if you got to take off, yeah, good to go.
And it's stream here, boys. I'm gonna go get a Pepsi.
Yeah, Pepsi time.
No one must know what I'm going to do to Irena.
Hans jacks the ride.
Alicia, you kind of pat yourself down real quick as well. You have all of your weapons, all of your gear, except for the keys to the motorcycle. Those are gone.
She lets out just a sigh and tries not to, again, break into panic, as she's just feeling very prone to right now. We're gonna have to do this the hard way then. This is fucking lovely. Oh, God.
Shuffling back onto the street, you see that there are tire marks that are only there because it looks like the ambulance went off-road to do like a U-turn, kind of tracking some like river water mud back onto the street, and then went through the covered bridge in the way you guys came from, back headed towards Velaki.
Okay. Irina, you know how to hotwire, or do I have to do this as well?
She kind of gives you just like a flabbergasted look and says, "No, I don't know how to hotwire a motorcycle. But I can help if there's anything I can do. I'm a quick learner."
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Sort of move in. Go make a tinkering check again for me, and again you will have advantage because Rena will help you. It definitely takes some time, especially how tired the two of you are and with your sort of limited tool set. But you sort of just snap off the actual metal bit where the key actually goes in, kind of getting at the ignition itself, kind of like messing around with the wire and other bits of the actual trigger to it. And just with a few couple snips and tinkering, you do manage to sort of like make sort of this fake igniters. You're going to pull the wires out and have it in your hand. And it's going to stride above onto the actual handlebars of the motorcycle. You kind of give it just this twist, and the headlight roars back up as the motorcycle turns on.
Okay.
With this big sort of like vroom, this big sort of roar, and that then kind of fades into a soft, gentle hum as the motorcycle kind of just kind of like vibrates and kind of just like purrs beneath you. As you're kind of like straddling the seat, hands back on the handlebars. Arena says, "Are you actually going to the werewolves?"
Yeah. Yeah. You think I started this motorcycle up for myself? I'm gonna walk there. Wherever they are. Dante's gonna fucking kill me if I let you walk to Kirkland, though, so... I'm not gonna let someone like him kill me.
Elysia, Arena kind of looks at you, and she says, "Listen, Elysia, I know you really don't want to hear this right now, but I don't think we should split up. I don't want to be a liability or a burden, but I don't know if I can make it there alone, with or without a motorcycle." And she kind of like bites her thumb and kind of looks back and forth between the two sides of the street, goes onto Kirkland and then back the way the van went.
How far is it to Kirkland?
I think maybe 10 or 20 minutes by car. No more than a few miles.
Then you should be able to make it. She's gonna hop off the motorcycle.
Arena shakes her head and she says, "If we go somewhere, we're going somewhere together. I'd be an idiot if I said those werewolves didn't scare me, but if you're going back there, I'm going back there too. I'm not going to leave you behind."
You know what they're gonna probably do to you, right?
Her expression gets a little grim, and her cheeks get a little bit flushed. And she says, "You guys have put your lives on the line multiple times for me. It'd be a really shitty move if I wasn't ready to do the same."
She puts her fingers up against her temple and just this exasperated look of just not knowing what to do right now. This is why we have Julian or somebody.
I can hide or drive off when you get there. But we can't split up. We just need to find Dante, or Julian, just everyone else. I'm sure there's a reason for this, and we can figure it out together, okay? Let's go. Kind of gestures to the motorcycle.
Oh my god! If you get captured or you die, it's not my fault then.
She looks a little meek. Kind of goes quiet. Doesn't know what to say. And
you
she
wanna-
says,
If you want to risk your life, that's not on my head anymore. I am sick of this fucking place.
If they try, do you have my back? Would you fight them with me?
She's gonna stare for this guy as if she's actually contemplating. I don't know about that. There's no point standing in a fight that I can't win. We'd just be swarmed and overrun by them.
Then what's exactly your plan when we get there?
Well, I don't know. You going there would change things, but I was just gonna roll up and hope they accept a fellow werewolf.
We can use that. I can hide. And you can go, and we can work from there.
Okay. If they find you again, it's not on me.
She looks a little disheartened to hear that, but as you kind of stride up onto the motorcycle, she kind of, again, tucks away the flashlight, kind of sits up on the back as you rev it up. You kind of rev the motorcycle back up into action, kind of rear it around, and as you kind of spin it, you peel out onto the covered bridge and past all the ghoul corpses on the bridge itself and onto the main road. And you two take off into the mist. And that's where we're going to end the session of Curse of Strahd.
Oh man, you're gonna run into Bruno.
Fucking throat punch him. Take the jacket back. It's our jacket.
Dude, what the fuck?
Bruno
Well,
lost
Leslie and
the
Rita
jacket
done this.
right.
Bruno had a long time to get there. He didn't show up.
Yeah, how long was the stretch of road? Would they have definitely noticed a bike coming at him? Oh, you were going the wrong way with Irina, man. Oh, man.
Irina was the one who was insistent on fucking going.
Yeah.
But could just go there
Bruno
later.
gets the plan.
Alicia gave her an easy fucking way to get out.
It's like
Fucking
a
motorcycle and a
20-minute
10-minute drive to
man.
Kirkland.
You could have just dropped her off at Kirkland and then drove back.
I don't think she would have been willing to even do that.
Well, once she's ditched, I doubt she'd have a choice. Oh, Lofus and the boy. Also, why is my sister here? I like
I
that.
don't know.
Questions for next time, buddy.
Yeah, beat
Don't
you
worry. We're going to go into some kid fighting arena, I feel. I
If
feel sorry
werewolves
for
have
us.
done anything, bro, I'm gonna fucking swing on them.
Gonna be so sad.
Now the question is who's gonna be the next person to show up that's related to the family of someone here?
Oh no.
I know I'm safe from that.
Fucking four, like the Ninja Turtles show up.
The
Fucking
Ninja Druids.
The Ninja Turtles.
any fucking person who yells knows it's gonna be another turtle is probably just gonna tell them to fuck off. Straight up, like,
That's also
yeah.
muted if you're
Look.
still your computer. Just so you know.
Look.
Oh shit! I forgot I was muted.
Oh.
Hope you haven't been saying nothing.
I guess nothing too important.
Dude, if these
I
werewolves have
I
been
guess
being
I was
mean-
gonna say Dante's an only child. That way, Michael has no ammunition to use against me.
All y'all are fucking only children except for Julian.
And unless Lieutenant General James Cower shows up,
rolls up with the Air Force boys.
pulls up with my municipal M1A1 Abrams.
Oh man.
Now, I mean, Elysia doesn't have any siblings, but Percy has a sister that just disappeared. So,
You never know.
yeah, that's what I'm worried about. It's either going to be either her parents or Percy's sister.
Dude.
I mean, Yaddle does not know his family or the tribe he actually originates from. I'm just set. I have no way of being harmed by those that Yodel would care about.
These
Those who are
wolves
all decent.
better hope they're treating his sister right. They swing on a wolf.
Well, the way they're talking, we're gonna have to like fisticuff.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna have to beat each other up. Like what? We seem to be
Whoever
like the
gets-
oldest amongst all these people.
Whoever has to fight Julian's sister, easiest fight ever. Just stomp that little girl into the ground, call it a day.
Touch my sister, I'll bite you.
Lofus does seem to be of an age with you guys, but he's a bit of a small boy.
Is she short?
Dante's like ready to burn this fucking place to the ground, though.
Look, if they've been nice to his sister, they get a lot more trust.
Well, no, because you see, not only do they want Irina, which he doesn't like, however, now they've brought his best friend's family into it, and that's not something you do.
Look, how my sister got into this realm is gonna be a big question. And if they've been keeping her safe, that's a bit important as well.
Well, something tells me they weren't keeping her safe to fucking just to be nice.
Well, she's not dead.
There's an agenda behind
Bruno are
keeping
like
her
best
alive.
buds.
Yeah, we'll see.
If they were best buds, she wouldn't be being held in the prisoners like area.
That might be true.
How did what's her name also get here?
Voyage.
Yeah.
Yeah, how the fuck did she beat us here?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Oh shit.
Big traveler. Man.
Last I checked, she was in a goddamn
Orphanage?
fucking orphanage.
Maybe she ran away.
Maybe.
Who knows how long Lofus has been here for, man? Like, we don't even recognize him. He's probably from a different year.
You guys have heard no mention, nor do you recognize any Lofus.
He comes from a different school. It's not exactly Sphinxus.
No, it's a Sphinxus uniform.
God, I can't wait to learn more about this son of a bitch.
I'm kind
He's
of
gonna-
hoping they're just gathering random people who are lost because, like, Nature Boy seems reasonable he'd be lost in the woods. And people getting teleported into this realm would probably also be lost, a la Swinthus and Sister. And if Voyage ran away, she'd probably be out in the forest and probably get picked up, but still, Julian's got questions. And I don't have spell slots, but I do have a hefty arcana I can continue to roll until I'm knocked out.
We should try to, like, send.
Sending, yeah. It's 3rd level, man. I ain't got that yet.
Yeah, I know, but we have fucking Mr. Galaxy Brain with us. Surely we can at least attempt.
Galaxy
Yeah, we'll
Mind.
plus $1 billion to Arcana over here.
And easy to gain advantage. Holy shit.
Leku does have a plus 10 to Arcana at level 4.
That's fucked.
Yep.
Isn't that because he has expertise in it?
Expertise
He does.
and a +1.
Ah.
Because
I
of
have
his
that in our
study.
tabletop. I have a fucking plus 14 or something. No, I think it's 16 now.
We've got a plus 6 to this, like, to just intelligence raw.
Yeah, I have a plus 6 raw intelligence, which helps.
You're these fools.
Which means when we hit around like level 16, 17, I forget when plus 6 happens, I'll have like a what'll my maximum be? It'll be 6 plus
Gotcha.
18 plus 18 to Arcana.
Yeah, plus 18.
Damn.
I'm actually fucking Galaxy Brain in our tabletop game.
You also have DC 20.
Oh yeah, I'll have
Oh,
DC
spell
20
saves.
spell save.
Sheesh.
Can't fucking wait. I already have DC 19 with plus 11 spell attack.
What the hell? High level characters are so buffed.
Yeah, we're only level 14. I would say only. We had to grind for 2 years to get here, but
We finally
You've
made
also
it.
been through the fucking ringer.
we've also been put through the goddamn ringer. Fucking Serac can bite my shiny metal ass. I kicked his ass collectively.
God.
I collectively kicked his ass.
Oh, they got my sister, man. Oh. Y'all better be here for next week, I swear to God.
There's a good chance, because of family matters, I might not.
Tell your family I got Family Matters in a D&D game.
They'll understand.
They won't understand.
Tom to
Why?
get it. Get with it or get out. Why do they have little Emma?